And Andrew Gould of the Huntington Beach City Council, famous chef. Huntington Beach Council, City Council, come on up. All right. So let me do a real quick agenda, and then I'm going to hand it over to some of my colleagues. They're going to make brief remarks as to why Prop 50, the No on Prop 50 campaign, as well as the affirmative fight, the positive fight, getting voter ID on the ballot, why it's so important. But let me tell you this. Tonight, we are not here just to educate and inform, although it's important that you be informed and educated as to what's going on. Tonight, we are here to activate. Activate. Off the couch, into the fight. Out of your house, into the streets. That is the name of the game. Now, I'm not going to spook you out. I'm not going to overwhelm you. What I want to do is I'm going to lay out a plan as to how we are going to take back our state one single vote at a time, how you can participate, and then I'm going to give you a menu of options. Think about it as you're a member of the symphony, okay? Our job is to show up with the sheet music and to make sure that the instruments are laid down before you. Our job is to just make sure that we are the conductor of the symphony, but we don't play instruments. You play the instruments. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at one of the assignments I'm going to walk through today, and a lot of it has to do with this little magical packet called the volunteer kit. That's right. If you don't walk out tonight with one of these, you're really not going to have the tools you need to activate. But what we're going to do is we're going to lay out a couple different assignments for you. You don't have to do them all. You don't have to do a lot of each. Do what you can, but do something. That is the name of the game. All right, so that's what we're going to walk through tonight. The comprehensive plan. We're going to talk about the tools that we are going to provide you, whether it is the petition for voter ID, whether it's palm cards for No on Prop 50, whether it's the votive system where you can call or drive your neighborhood. I know I'm not saying walk because I want you to skip most homes. I'll tell you in a moment why. And by the way, if you've ever sign waived, please stop it. You're only reminding the other side that an election is coming up. We have to be quiet. We want to only reach the votes that we know are on our side and turn them out in record numbers. So we're going to go through that whole program tonight. But with that, we are here today to talk about a two-front war. Part one is we're playing defense. We have to stop Prop 50, which is Gavin Newsom's corrupt redistricting scheme. Yes. And that would undermine fair elections because it would allow politicians to rig the maps. But part two is going on the offense. And that is taking back our state means we have to restore election integrity, and we do that through the California Voter ID Initiative. We're going to talk about both of those, both the defense and the offense strategy of the two-front war. But I want to let you know that none of this would be possible without my colleagues up here. I'm touring the state, up and down the state, but nowhere have we had better partners than in Orange County. And I'm from San Diego County, okay? Orange County is doing a hell of a lot. And it's not just the elected officials, but it is your party chair, the Orange County Republican Party. They have been amazing. How many of you have gotten some of those number 10 envelopes? The handwritten envelopes, hand addressed? Right there, Orange County Republican Party, ground zero, plus Huntington Beach Republican headquarters with Carla Strickland. You may know Carla Strickland. Without our partners up here, without the Orange County Republican Party, nothing would be possible. And that's what we need to see more of. And so if you don't see an elected official up here, I want you to ask them why. I want you to ask them what. What are you, since you weren't there that night, I'm sure you were busy doing something else in the fight, not just at home, kicking up your feet, watching TV. What else are you doing to move the needle? Because we do not have enough Republicans in California to have seat warmers. We need fighters. They need to be out there organizing, canvassing, and really igniting a fire in every single way possible. We need more people like the people you see up here on the stage. So with that, let me open it up with our statewide co-chair, Senator Tony Strickland.
Hello, Huntington Beach. I didn't hear you. Hello, Huntington Beach. All right. Hey, let's give Carl Dimaio a big round of applause. Everything from California. Look, as Carl said, it's hard to be brief on two very important topics. The defense, very simple. Do you want predetermined elections in California? Do you want politicians picking their seats instead of citizens picking their representatives? Do you want a nonpartisan commission that's drawing of districts in public and hundreds of hearings and doing it in public? Or do you want Gavin Newsom to do it behind closed doors? Do you want politicians, or do you want the people to have the power? And that's very simple. And don't let people say they're using Texas as an excuse. Gavin Newsom campaigned against the Citizens Commission right out of the gate. They're using Texas as an excuse. At the end of the day, we have the gold standard here in California. We draw those lines in public. And by the way, in our Constitution, it says you have to keep cities and counties and communities of interest together. This map that Gavin Newsom drew split up cities over 100 times. There's one district that goes from Modoc, and I don't know if you know where Modoc is, but it's a very rural part of Northern California and goes all the way into the Bay Area and to San Francisco. So if you lived in Modoc County, you'd have to drive over 300 miles to see your representative. There's one district in Coronado in San Diego that goes around two districts and goes into Palm Springs. And the only reason why they do that is because they want predetermined elections. They don't want to compete for your vote because they want to be able to ignore you. And that's why Prop 50 is so important. It's going to be a turnout election. And I'm a big Tony Robbins guy. It's about taking action. So those who take action and tell your neighbors, and if you're able to drive your precincts and make sure that we knock on every door that we know is going to vote no on 50, we can push this back and end Gavin Newsom's career once and for all. Yeah. Now, I'll say on offense, I think a big reason is Carl Dimaio and I are the joint authors of this voter ID initiative that's going to turn around California and make it golden again. For those of you that don't know, and I know most of you do because you're here in Huntington Beach, we passed voter ID and it's actually implemented in the city of Huntington Beach. Now we're taking that momentum and we're passing it statewide. Because when we pass this, look, at the end of the day, we're not solving all the problems of voter fraud, but we have a system that's just ridiculous. We have the worst voting system in the country here. How many people read that the dog voted in the last 3 elections in Costa Mesa? You know, I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So what will happen after we pass this is when you vote, you have to show your ID, and when you mail in your ballot, you have to use your form of identification. So that alone, and we'll have to clean up the whole voter roll in the whole state of California when we pass it.
Yes.
So this is the game changer to take back our state to make it gold again. It's the first time in California history, first time, more people are leaving the state than coming in since the gold rush. And it's only because of policies of Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom. And the good news I have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is we're one leader away from prosperity here in California. And a big step in the right direction is getting this done and getting qualified, because we are very confident. The polling shows that we get this qualified, we get enough signatures, that's 70% approval rating. The only people against this is Gavin Newsom and the Democrats in Sacramento, because they want to be able to take you for granted. They want to be able to not have to defend their horrible record up in Sacramento and all the terrible bills that they're doing. And we can talk forever about that. But let me also, Carl mentioned it, those people who wrote those letters, because it was 1.5 million, right? 1.5 million letters were handwritten that went out to the people of California. If you helped out with that, folding or writing, please stand up. Please stand up. All I gotta say is thank you, thank you, thank you. The most valuable commodity you have in your life is your time. It's the one thing you can't get back. And the fact that all of you care so much. People ask me, I joke around, my friends who know me the best, say when I die, I'm going to be buried in Chicago, so I can remain politically active and still vote. It's in my blood. I learned it from my dad, who was a career military soldier, that it's up to every generation to leave the next generation with more opportunity than what you have. And it's the first time in California history that's in question. Are we going to leave our kids and grandkids with more opportunity? We have affordability crisis here in the state, and a lot of people are leaving the state. Their jobs are leaving the state, or young people can't afford it, so they're leaving the state, or they're moving back in with their parents when they're 25, 30 years old. It's happening all over the state. We're one leader away from prosperity, but this is the step in the right direction to get that leader, so we can get this done. And so I just want to thank all those people who stood, and I want to thank all of you that are here tonight, because you could be watching the Dodgers game 1 right now, but you're here tonight because you care what I said that I learned from my father. We're all here tonight because we want to make a difference. We're all here tonight because we want to make a difference, and we want the next generation to have more opportunity than what we had. That's why you're here tonight. Now, I'm telling you right now, you're going to remember this event when we pass this in November, when we get the signatures and pass this in November, and then when we have a right-minded thinking governor of California, and then we take back the legislature, and we take back California, because otherwise I cannot win when we in California. When we do that, you're going to remember this is the first step in taking back California and making it great again. So with that, I want to again thank Carl. Let's give Carl another big round of applause. And I love working with Carl. We're the authors of this, but Carl and what he's done with Reform California has just been remarkable. He deserves a lot of credit because he's been going up and down the state. I've been trying to follow him. He's a high energy guy. I always think I'm a high energy guy as well. But I love him to death because he deeply cares about the future of California, as all of us do on this stage. So with that, you want me to
I want to let you know that in Sacramento, things are changing. And I'm hoping we can get another fighter up in Sacramento soon with Gracie coming up for your next state senator. But I hope that you've seen a change in the Republican caucus in Sacramento. Your voice is being heard more. And I've always said, you might be in the super minority, but there's one easy thing you can be to become an opposition party, and that is be a voice. Give voice to the voiceless. That is our most important role in Sacramento. And I've got to say that in the past 8 months, we've seen the Republican caucus in Sacramento be more united than in years, more consistent in voting on conservative votes than ever before. And we've actually gotten a couple really good wins under our belt, and we expect to have a lot more. But it's folks like Treetop who are in hard districts, but he makes it look so easy. Because the Democrats, I actually talked to a Democrat a couple of weeks ago. He said, oh yeah, we know we're not going to be able to get Treetop's district because he just works so hard. And I see it every day. My good friend, Assembly Member Treetop.
Hello everyone, hello Huntington Beach, and hello our conservative community. What an honor for me to stand here with all my brother and sister and our conservative community to continue the fight. This is our fight. This is our momentum. And I want to thank you all. You all work so hard. You all making a history. And I want to thank our college in Sacramento. For the last few years, we've been fighting so hard, and we've been fighting every single day. We are minority, but we are fighting back. And this is our moment. I am so proud and I'm so honored to be here with you all because you are fighters. Yeah. I came to America in 1992. At the time I was 19 years old, and I came here for freedom. So this is the moment we get to stand up for our freedom. I believe we are aware that, like the rest of the world, every single country in the world, they need ID. They need a voter ID. What is going on in California? That's completely wrong. And now we're fighting for having voter ID. But I believe that we need to win. So I want to thank my colleagues. I want to thank Carl Mayo. I'm so honored to work with him for the last 8 months in Sacramento. He's been fighting so hard, and he's been fighting for you. So I believe we are rewriting history for California. Thank you so much.
I mentioned earlier we had an amazing partner in the Orange County Republican Party. Will O'Neill is their new chair, and we sat down early on and he said, let's work together and let's build a totally different approach to winning elections in Orange County. Let's show the rest of the state how it's done. And now people are watching what's going on here in Orange County. Will, thank you so much. Come on over here and tell us how Orange County Republican Party can help rebuild our state.
Awesome. So for the last 9 months, we have seen win after win at in our nation's capital. And one of the things I keep hearing from people every time we see one is, we voted for that, right? How often have we said that? But let me just say real quickly, because I'm seeing a freedom shirt out here. At Charlie Kirk's memorial, when we saw our Secretary of State, our President, our Vice President, the entire cabinet get up there, who voted for that? We voted for that. This morning, we all woke up and saw President Trump follow through on one of the greatest campaign policies that we've ever heard. Who voted for that? We voted for that. We saw our president go out on the world stage as a leader of nations. Who voted for that? We voted for that. What was our governor doing? Our governor was on social media putting out memes and mean tweets. We didn't vote for that, but a dog sure did. And as we're looking out on what we're seeing right now at our nation, in Washington, D.C. and across the world versus what we're seeing in Sacramento, two things are clear. One, we have got to reject the $300 million presidential bid that Gavin Newsom is launching right now with our tax dollars on Prop 50. Yes. And the second thing is, we got to clean up our voter rolls and we got to get voter ID. And this is all going to take a lot of hard work. Everybody's showing up. And at the OCGOP, what we have done is we have said, hey, we're going to activate our Republicans. We're going to get out our base. We're going to make sure that they're voting. And guess what? We're actually voting in higher numbers right now than we normally have been in a really long time. And it takes a lot of hard work. I need you all to go to our website, ocgop.org. The reason I need you to go there is because we have a dedicated page right now with graphics that you can text and send out to friends reminding them to vote. Okay. We have a discussion on bullet points. Hey, here's what to say. Here are talking points for you. We have a lot of information for you to even show you what the maps look like, so you can send them to people and show them that Tritas District is getting split up and going all over the place from Fountain Valley to Norwalk over to Seal Beach and into Yorba Linda. It looks like a spider. Right here where we are right now, we would get put up with 2/3 of Newport Beach, all the way up into Long Beach, so that one of the farthest left members of Congress, Robert Garcia, would try to represent this area.
My representative.
And I will tell you, if you look at the lines, what you're going to see is literally the lines for one Congress district to another are split by backyard fences. If you are in Mission Viejo, there is a street right now where if you're on the odd side, you're in one congressional district. If you're on the even side, you're in another. So the left-wing Atlantic magazine is sending out a reporter this week to interview some Republicans. I said yes on one condition, that you meet me at that street. Because I'm going to make sure people see how absurd this Gavin Newsom play is from Prop 50.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, we need you. We need you so badly. We need you to make phone calls. We need you to go out and knock on doors. We need you to do everything Carl's about to talk about on his menu. And I just want to say, Carl, thank you so much for your leadership on this. Thank you for your partnership. Together, we are going to win this thing, but it's taken a lot of hard work. Let's get going.
Thank you so much, Will. You know, when people say, well, we're not moving the needle in California, you did, right here in Huntington Beach.
Yep.
We went from what, a 4-3 Democrat majority
No,
to
6-1.
a 6-1, sorry. It's even worse than I thought. Farther in the crapper. To a 7-0 Republican total majority. And they're doing an amazing work on every single count. They are just racking and stacking them. They are absolutely hitting the ball out of the park. And I will tell you, if it happened in Huntington Beach, we turned the tide. You gave us the playbook on how we can do it in community after community after community. And so I want to invite our Huntington Beach representatives up for very brief remarks, as we got to get on with the actual assignment side. With that, Gracie Vandermark.
Yeah, great.
Thank you all for being here. I love the fact that we're at standing room only. And what that tells me is you haven't given up on California, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank Tommy Strickland, Tree Time, Carl Dimaio, because they haven't given up on us. They might be the minority, but they're still sitting here fighting every single day for us. So thank you all for doing that. And Willis, our new GOP chairman, he stood there and he's been strong. We have a strong leader now. He's bringing forward the importance of sticking together, not splitting votes. Thank you for being steadfast and sticking to that. That gives me hope as well. And I'd like to introduce a couple of people here. We have our mayor, Pat Burns. We have Butch Swiney. We have our council members. Andrew Grove. We have our street clerk, Lisa Lane Bear, standing back there. And I saw Carla Strickland somewhere back there. She's done a tremendous amount of work. Thank you, Carla, for all your hard work. So thank you all for not giving up on California. Every other country requires voter ID. In Mexico, where my mom came from, not only do you need an ID to vote, you need a voting credential. 2 forms of ID. Here we have dogs voting. Well, the 4 of us were in campaign in 2022. An honest resident who was not a citizen came back and said, I just got mailed this ballot. I've been living in the United States for 3 years and I'm not a citizen. And he turned that ballot in. But there are a ton of people who are not doing that. So thank you, Carl, for taking this statewide and bringing this to the forefront to let the people know this is important, this is happening. Let's secure our elections and let's take our California back. Thank you.
And then I want to invite one more speaker up. Andrew Gruel. I don't follow anything but political accounts because it's my job to stay informed. But there was one account I started following because we were appearing on Fox News at night with Trace Gallagher because Trace has been so wonderful in focusing on California issues. But he's a chef and he has one of the most amazing feeds of wonderful food pictures I've ever seen. But then he agreed to serve on the city council, and I was like, wow. And he has brought such visibility to so many issues with his social media following, and I want to invite him up to make brief remarks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you all. Obviously, we're all on the same page, and I wish that I could stand here and give everybody cooking advice and how to properly take those photos, but we'll save that for another time. I mean, we're in the nucleus of activism right here. I mean, this is really like the nexus of the Orange County political universe. So every single one of you that showed up tonight, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. The one thing that I will say is that being a restaurant owner and coming at this somewhat from the outside and being relatively new as a council member, I still have that new council member smell. What I've noticed is that when it comes to the issues, what we're dealing with right now is actually very easy to understand. So in the past, whenever you're trying to explain things to people, it's complicated for them because the issues, it's all about obfuscation. They purposefully try and confuse the residents, the voters, so that then they can kind of like spin their propaganda. The good news, especially in relation to this issue, is it's very easy to understand. I mean, 2/3 of the voters originally, I don't know how that number has changed, originally said that they were against 50, right? So for us as the activists here and kind of the evangelists for this cause, we don't necessarily need to go in and explain in depth with intellectuality what the problem is here. We just need to get people to vote. And too often in California, those of us who are voting for the right thing, we're kind of apathetic. We think our vote doesn't matter. But with all the people that are here and engaged, I would say, 150, 200 people, if all of you pick 10 people and get 10 people to return their ballots or to go out and vote, ideally return the ballots now so that we can overwhelm them, and then that multiplier effect takes hold, and those 10 people, maybe tell 5 people and beyond and beyond and beyond, we're talking about 10, 20,000 votes right there alone just from this room. But I know the number can be even bigger. So don't give up. Just remember, this is a moment in time that we're going to talk about from a historical perspective, because if they win, I usually say things like, it can't get any worse than it actually is. Most likely I'll be in handcuffs for serving cheeseburgers if that's the case. So we need to avoid that. We're going to be represented by the same representative from Humboldt County here pretty soon. When my kids drew a map around California, the 4-year-old actually drew a more congruent map on California than whatever they were pushing out there. So remember, text, email, social media, Instagram, TikTok, heck, MySpace, break that back out again. 10 people, that's the number. Write them down on a list. Check them off on the list. Multiplier effect right there. It's all about mathematics. So thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you for having me here. And to your point about how we met on Fox News, tune in at 8:25 tonight. I'll be on with Trace.
All right, thank you. Give a round of applause for our partners that made this entire campaign possible in Orange County. Now let's switch over to your assignments, shall we? It's wonderful that you signed the voter ID initiative. It's nice that you come and get a yard sign, though, let me tell you, I wish you would not display it, and I certainly don't want you to be waving it over a freeway. I'll explain in a moment why. But I need you to do more than vote. I need you to do more than sign the initiative once. As Andrew mentioned, as all of us have implored you, I need you to go out and engage with other voters, friends, family, neighbors. Let me tell you why. In politics, there are 3 M's. If you have 1 M, you can be a viable party, but probably in the minority. If you have 2 M's, you become a majority party. If you have all 3 of the M's, you're a super majority. The first M is money. And let me tell you right now, we don't got it. Okay. Newsom will have the money. He's got George Soros. Yeah. He's got your taxpayer money to fund his NGOs for ballot harvesting. He's got dark money. He's got PAC money. He's got Wall Street money. All the moneyed interests are lined up behind Newsom.
Yes, I know.
We don't have to match him at the money. We do need at least enough to cover hard costs. But they're always going to have more money. The second thing is media. And until recently, the Democrats have absolutely dominated us in the media. Newspaper, radio, online, even, of course, the mainstream media and TV. But guess what's happened in the last 3-4 years? I'm a former broadcaster. I used to do 8 years on Kogo, and I get the media ratings. I track the ratings. I had to do it when I was broadcasting. And let me tell you, for every 3 viewers that NBC LA had in 2020, just 5 years ago, they now have 1 viewer, and they're very quickly going down to a half a viewer by 26 or 27. They're losing markets. And every time someone unsubscribes from the LA Times, an angel gets their wings. So Democrats used to have dominance in media. Not anymore. We have now reached parity, and I believe conservatives will eclipse the Democrats this year in California with this device right here. And that's why when Andrew said, I want you to go out and text, and so go back to MySpace if necessary. If the 4 people there are going to vote, we want to get their votes. This is powerful. And you may not be dominant on it yourself, but your grandkid is. Your daughter is. And so just giving them the information might inspire them to use this tool. But the third M is the most important of all 3. It trumps money. It trumps media. The third M is a movement. It is people interacting. It's the personal touch. And Democrats, They don't have a movement. Oh, they have a bowel movement, but we actually have the potential for a movement. I believe that there is a movement on the center right in California, but it is slumbering. I believe our movement exists, but it is depressed, it is fearful, it has lost hope. And so what we're trying to do at Reform California is to reignite this movement, to equip the movement, to motivate the movement, to give the movement hope, to give it direction, to give it tools and deploy it. Ever seen the movie Karate Kid from 1985? Remember Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off? What I'm about to ask you to do is a wax on, wax off exercise. Because if you do what I'm asking you to do, you are going to become part of that greater movement that will move the needle. And then we've got a bonsai tree. And then we've got the white picket fence, but that's going to be next year. The movement's already underway. Some of you are already part of that little wax on, wax off, because when I came to you and said, we're going to do, I started out, Will, and I said it was 1 million mailers. Boy, I totally upsold, okay? We're going to do 1 million mailers, handwritten. And people are like, that's impossible. And I said, but we're going to do it one envelope at a time. And those of you who did the envelopes, you checked out kits starting in late May in 8 field offices in Southern California. And we slowly did the envelopes. We didn't seal them. And then when it was time to seal, I said, oh my goodness, we've got 10 days to get all the petitions and the No 150 materials in. And you saw Laguna Niguel, Huntington Beach, Tustin. We were sitting there hour after hour on a Saturday and a Sunday with boxes of mailers all around. You couldn't even get into the Orange County Republican Party office. And we were inserting those mailers. Why? Because it was part of wax on, wax off. And I appreciate you all for trusting me in this whole process. And you said, Carl, we should be printing them on a machine. I said, no. And you know, I decided I'm going to do a label for the bottom right where it says, open immediately, time sensitive. And we smudged it with a yellow highlighter. And I said, make sure it's really smudged. If you can put a coffee stain on that baby, it's even better. Here's why. We did research ahead of time. And what the research showed is that when people go to their mailbox, and you probably do it yourself, junk, 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 junk. What's this? A handwritten number 10 envelope? There's even highlight and smudge. Gather around, kids. It must be a long-lost relative. Let's open it together. Everywhere across the state that I've been in the last 7 days, the last week, people have said, that envelope totally got me. The reason why I'm here is I got that envelope. I'm telling you, it got my attention. No, there's more. There's more. Now we're going to go to another element. Now that we got the envelopes out, now I need you to get a packet. I need you to put it in your purse. I need you to put it in your glove box. I need you to put it in your briefcase. I need you to carry it around. And if you are so bold and are willing to put a table in front of a store or a church, I want to give you a sign, because I don't want you to have to talk to anyone. If you just put the sign right here, this is the sign you get. It literally, you put this on a cardboard table and you sit in front of Target, people will just come up to you and say, give me the damn petition, I want to sign. It's like honey to the bees. You don't even have to say anything. Those of you who are antisocial, we have finally found a role for you. Sit in front of Target with this sign. But I would like you to talk to people. I would like you to engage people, because you know how you change people? You know how you get them to vote? You know how you get them to change their point of view? It's mom telling daughter, dad telling son, neighbor telling neighbor, colleague telling coworker. You are so powerful. And the problem is, in today's day and age, we are terrified of talking about politics, particularly at the Thanksgiving table. We don't want to lose our relatives and be kicked out of the family. But here's the thing. I know you feel a little sensitive, but I want you to feel a little awkward right now and just accept it, because what's more awkward? Having a professional, polite political conversation on a 70% issue, voter ID, and then segueing into no rigged maps, which is a 65% issue when you strip away the titles. A little awkwardness now, or how awkward would it be to have $8 a gallon gas? How awkward would it be to have your small business ransacked? How awkward would it be for your restaurant to shut down because you cannot afford the labor costs anymore and you're regulated out of existence? Or homeless people are putting hypodermic needles in the playground for your granddaughter to step on. Or the schools are failing your kids. How uncomfortable is that versus a slightly awkward conversation on politics in the next 3 weeks? I'm asking all of you to step outside of your comfort zone, because if we don't change the state, it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable to deal with the side effects. And let me just say one more thing, and then I'm going to give you your assignments. Do you know why Prop 50 is happening? This is not because of Texas, okay? Tony and I have the evidence. We have the emails that go back 4 years where Newsom and their political advisors are talking about, we really need to get rid of this redistricting commission. As we were heading into the redistricting process in 2021, they were plotting to get rid of it then. Then they said, well, 2/3 like it, so we can't get rid of it. They are using Trump and Texas to get ultimately what they've always wanted, which is the power back. But there's another reason. It's not just, they've always wanted the power back. No. And this is the good news. And I want you to share the good news, because there's a lot of depressed people out there who've given up hope. Do you understand that we are winning in this state? It doesn't seem that way because we don't have fair elections. It doesn't seem that way because we don't have the money the other side has. And the media has only now started catching up this year. The voters are moving automatically. The voters are waking up automatically. I mean, you can't have the highest cost of living in the nation and a crime wave and the worst schools and the largest job losses and not notice it. And that's why 2/3 of Californians say that we're on the wrong track. That is why Latinos, where are my Latinos? Hold up your hands. Our Latinos are coming home. Yeah. They're coming to the center and the right. They are coming home naturally. They are waking up. And do you understand where Prop 50 is coming from? It's not Texas or Trump. It's because Gavin Newsom and his cabal of corrupt cohorts in Sacramento, Trita and Tony and I, we've given them bill after bill to fix the problems they've created, and they've said, no, we don't want to fix the problems. So if you're not going to fix the problems, and you have an election coming up, there's only one way to stay in office. Rig the election. And that's why they're doing Prop 50. Make no mistake about it, this is designed to let them off the hook for accountability for the worst cost of living crisis in the nation, the worst schools, the highest crime rate, the worst homelessness issues. And that is what you have to explain to your neighbor who's a Democrat or an independent. Because right now, if it's about Trump, we lose. But if it's about the corruption and the self-centeredness of politicians and the fact that they're hurting you and you know you're hurting because you feel the pain every day, and they don't want to fix it, so the only thing they can do is play shiny object games with Prop 50 so that they don't have to pay the price for your misery. I'm telling you, you're going to get every independent voting no on 50 when they finally realize, shit, he's right. These people are deceptive and manipulative, and they haven't fixed the problem. And of course they would stop at nothing to rig the election. Those talking points, they're in this packet right here. That's why I need you to get it and take it. Plus, what's also in the packet is the voter ID petition. So when you get the packet, and I need you to check out a packet, you can't just take the petition and go out there and collect signatures, because we want to be able to support you and follow up with you and let you know when to turn in your signatures. November 1st, December 1st, and January 15th. We have until March to do 1 million signatures on voter ID, but we want to do it as much as possible in the next 3 weeks because Prop 50 is happening, and we might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And of course, by Christmas, I want to give Gavin Newsom big stocking stuffer of 1 million signatures, and I'm really upset. So in this packet, you will have the long form of the voter ID petition, so you can get up to 20 signatures. We have packets of 20, 100, and 250. Take as many as you'd like. Start early. Put it in your glove box, and you literally will just, by talking to people, get 20 signatures in the next 3 weeks. It's really easy peasy. We have instructions on how to do the petitioning. We have a return envelope so that you can mail it in, or you can come to our next Huntington Beach event. Our next event is actually Mile Square Park on November 2nd. It's a big event right before the election, and then you've got the No on 50 palm cards as you engage voters. We also have door literature that you can take. All the materials are right in this packet. So I'm asking you tonight, activate. Don't just vote. Don't just sign the petition. I need to see each of you taking a packet. Try it. Because if you don't do this, we don't have the money that Newsom has to make it happen. I'll conclude on this. You know why we are where we are today in California? Well, obviously, it's the Democrats with bad ideas, and they're corrupt. It's a broken system. The dark special interests, it serves their purpose. It doesn't serve the mom and pop, Joe and Jane, California. It hurts us. At our expense, they enrich themselves. So I can sit here and blame the Democrats, but we already know they got bad policies and it's a broken system. I must also assign blame to our side. Yes, the establishment, Rhino, get along, surrender political establishment of the Republican Party. But the people you see up here are absolutely the opposite. They are the elixir. They are the new guard. Yeah. But we kind of have to own a little bit of the blame ourselves, I think. Here's why. Unlike people who are liberal, who think, eat, sleep about government being the center of everything, and they're always active in government. I mean, these are the people who serve on their HOA, all right? They want to tell their neighbor what color their house can be, all right, how tall the grass can be. They're just wired differently. Like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. They're wired differently than us. We conservatives, we just want to let you left the hell alone. Just give me my freedom and leave me the hell alone. Get out of my bedroom, get out of my pocketbook, get out of my business. Just leave me alone. I'll respect you even though you're dumb and I disagree with you and you do respect me. We are wired differently. And here's the mistake we freedom-oriented conservatives made. We assumed for the last 20 years that someone was going to be focused on government on our side and do the work. Fight for us. No one is galloping in to save us. But here's the good news. We can save ourselves by working together. You are powerful. One signature at a time, one envelope at a time, one vote at a time. And I believe everyone in here can get 5 votes that ordinarily A, would not show up, or B, would be a no vote, but they need to just hear a little bit more intel and more information, and it persuades them. If you give us 5 votes each, we will overcome the deficit we're in. Right now, we are losing Prop 50 by about 5 to 7 points. Now, it's still winnable. I would not be telling you to get this stuff and get out the door and do 3 weeks of energy, because 7 points is 52% is yes. 50 to 52%. I've seen a couple different polls just in the last 48 hours. 44 to 45% no, and the rest is undecided. But the 50 to 52%, very soft. And those people can break very quickly to our side. And I believe that those polls slightly overstate at the moment the yes side, because the ballot title is heinously misleading. Yes. I think when people sit down on a single subject ballot, they actually will do the research. I believe anyone who's still in the bubble will likely break in our direction. When we win Prop 50, it will only be by a point or 2. But we can still win. And the way it's going to be won is going to be on the ground with the movement. They got the money, they got the media, we got to build the movement. And once we build this movement, get 1 million signatures, once we build the movement and hopefully win Prop 50, we're not disbanding this movement. This has not existed in California. This is what Trump brought to America. This is now what we're bringing to California. But it's going to take each and every one of us, and it starts tonight with taking a packet. And if you're antisocial, taking a sign. With that, let me open it up to questions, comments, suggestions. Yes, sir.
I got a question. Even though we know the voter guide has got some mistakes in it, like the district.
Yeah.
Where are these postcards that we are all supposed to be getting, that we heard that they were supposed to be corrected? We've already got the ballots.
This gentleman says the ballot information was misleading. We were supposed to get a correction postcard. Look, if you're hanging your hat on their correction postcard or the ballot tile, it ain't gonna happen. This is how we're gonna win the election. You want to know? You know what the only postcard people should be getting? It's this thing right here. This is the only information that we need to be providing, but all the arguments on here are poll tested. And of course, it's so important that we make clear that this is a $300 million advertisement for Gavin Newsom's presidential campaign. It's a waste of money in the middle of a budget crisis. So don't worry about that postcard. It's irrelevant. What is most relevant is our arguments have to get to at least 5 voters each for each of you.
My main question was the legality, because since they've sent out wrong information.
No, I know. I would love to sue their pants off. They also have, he says, what about the legality here? They have ballots in some counties where you can see the no vote. They broke 7 times the state constitution, and we sued them, and the Supreme Court of California, they're all liberals. They are appointed by the politicians. So if you're banking on a judge in California saving us, it ain't going to happen.
First-year law student.
The first-year law student would have agreed with us, but these judges are corrupt. So it's not going to be a court fight. It's a ballot box fight, and we got to win the ballot box. Yes, sir.
Who's counting the votes? How does the vote count work?
Well, it's the same process we're using right now, unfortunately, which is why we need voter ID. But let me just say this. No one up here is trying to pretend like we have a fair fight. Mama didn't promise you a fair fight, but it's still a winnable fight. If this was already cooked, I would not be here today. I'd say, y'all pack up your bags, sell your businesses, and get the hell out of Dodge. Let it just slide into the ocean. We know that their voting system lacks integrity. But that's why, as President Trump says, we have to make it too big to rig. We must win by a greater number than 50% plus 1 in order for us to actually prevail. I don't know how many percentage points extra we have to get. I've always said it's about 3 to 5 points in a race. But it is winnable. If you give up hope, then they have won. We absolutely, look at Huntington Beach. You think they would give 7 seats up? No. They probably salted the tallies, but they still lost because the Huntington Beach residents absolutely got engaged and they took back their vote.
If you or anybody in this audience wants to do voter integrity on election day on Prop 50, contact our party chairman. We need volunteers to oversee the count. So if you're interested, or anybody else here is interested in being part of that process and getting trained to oversee it, I know some of you have already done it. Go see the party chairman and he'll put you to work.
Other questions? Yes, ma'am, in red.
Yeah, you mentioned something about being stealth and not going door to door, but doing it to just be.
Yes, thank you.
I'm a little confused.
Another tool that we give you besides the packet is if you want the, she said, what about going stealth? Here's why I don't want you waving signs. Special elections are all about turnout. Presidential election is 80% turnout. If you want to wave signs during a presidential election, go ahead. It's not going to move the needle because it's not a personal contact. But go ahead, it won't hurt us. But in a special election, waving signs can be dangerous because when someone drives under that freeway that could be a Democrat, they're like, oh, look at those asshats. Okay, they reminded me to go home and vote in this election. A lady yesterday in Brea said, I need a bunch of those cards to go to the parking lot and put them on everyone's cars. I'm like, no. Because a Democrat's going to get a card and say, oh, that's right, I have a ballot at home. I gotta go home and vote yes. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to work harder but smarter, okay? I don't want you going to every door in your neighborhood. I also don't want you walking door to door because I'm going to have you skip 7 homes for the 8th home that you're going to go to. Here's why. The party and Reform California have something called Votive. It is a cell application. You download, it's free, and we will populate a list for you, and we will train you on how to do this. I then will have you go to specific homes. And I don't want you walking because there's too much distance. I want you to get a friend, and I want you to sit in an air-conditioned car while you got your pack and your petition, and you're going to drive to a home. Now, you're going to drive past a bunch of homes, and you're going to say, why am I not stopping at those homes? Those would be the Democrat homes. Okay? I don't want you going there because you're reminding them there's an election, And if they're a member of Antifa, you may not physically survive the experience. So we're going to skip over those homes. But then you're going to go by a home and you're going to say, okay, I'm calling Carl right now. Stop. There's a Trump flag right here. This is one of our voters, and it's not in the app that Carl wants me to go see. Will did not put this one on the list. Will, I'm in front of this house. They're a Trump voter, and they're not on your list. And Will's going to say, if they're flying a Trump flag in Fountain Valley, they're one of ours, and they're going to vote. You don't need to remind them. They're courageous. Skip over them because they're already going to vote. And it's likely Will's already taken them off your list because they already voted. No, I'm going to have you go to a home. And when you go to that door, remember I said give them hope? You're going to go up to that door. You're going to knock on the door. And they're going to open it. They're going to say, hello, you selling solar? You're going to say, no. I'm here with the Republican Party or Reform California. And there's an important election. We have to stop Gavin Newsom from rigging the election, and your vote's important. And I have some information for you. And I also have the voter ID initiative that I'd like you to sign. You know what they're going to do? They're not going to slam the door. They're going to do this. Are you real? I haven't seen a Republican at my door in 20 years. I didn't know there were others like me out in this community. But you know what you just did for them? You just made them realize that there is hope. Because someone out there is fighting. A fight is underway. And then they're going to start feeling really guilty that they're not also walking in their neighborhood. But they will definitely vote just because you talk to them. And so what Will and I are going to do is we got to do a list. And the reason why you're going to go drive is that over the course of 3 weeks, I want you not to go to 30 homes once. I want you to go to 10 homes 3 times. Mm-hmm. I want you to keep going back. Yep. Because I'm sending you to the lowest propensity voters or those wobbly independents that lean our way that we just need to make sure are going to vote and vote the right way. We need to work smarter and harder. But waving signs, not a good idea. It does not move the needle. Yeah. It absolutely backfires in most cases. It's a waste of time. Yes, sir?
Yes, sir. Are you talking to
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yeah. Do you remember we had 5 winners in the last election, remember? And then bang, 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 all gone? What did they tell us? They said, well, we have no idea what the count is. Let me tell you, I volunteered to do that work, and I found out where they play the game, all right? Every single night, we counted 3 times exactly how many people dropped a ballot in the container. So we knew every single container drop. So they keep saying, well, we don't have any idea where these...
So what is your question? Because I have to keep the program going. What's your question?
So the question is, you're not going to fix it till you fix that.
Okay. So let me talk about voter ID and what's in the initiative. We had to do a lot of polling because we can't put an initiative on the ballot unless we know it's going to pass by 70%. And we also did a lot of legal work. The best lawyers in the nation. We had 3 sets of legal teams. And at the end of the process, they sat down with Tony and me because we hired a law firm to rip it apart and then hired another law firm to basically put more teeth in it. And the lawyers said, we've been doing this with states across the country. You guys have gotten the best model for voter ID. The ones that we've already done it in, we think we have to go back and now improve. This voter ID initiative is not just about voter ID. It's first about cleaning up the voter rolls. So you don't know how they rigged the election?
5 million extra voters.
Stop. Let me tell you what we know. Number 1, they allow the voter list to become completely outdated. They allow illegal immigrants to be registered through voter. They don't take voters off when they move out of the state of California, 2.5 million votes. They don't take dead people off. Or dogs. So you have a voter list that has about 2.5 million ineligible voters out of 22 million on it. That's what our audit shows. 2.5 million out of 22 million are ineligible voters, but guess what? They all get ballots. Step 2, after you have an outdated voter list, then you require all mail-in ballots using an outdated list. What does that create? It creates something called orphan ballots. You know what an orphan ballot is? It is the instrument of fraud. It's the ballot that's sitting in your post box and on the stoop. It's the ballot sitting in the apartment building foyer. No one knows whose ballot it is. It came in their box, so they just kind of set it down, think it belongs to someone else. Third, they allow strangers to harvest ballots for profit, funded by the NGOs on the left. So they go out to apartment buildings and they scoop up the ballots. And then fourth, they don't do signature checks on ballots. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That is the model of fraud that they have perfected. And this initiative shuts the whole damn thing down. How? We start first with requiring an audit of the voter rolls every 2 years, and the audit must be made public in each county, not statewide, in each county. That audit is also the basis of legal challenges to require a county to implement reforms and clean up the list. We also require, as part of that voter list maintenance, citizenship verification for every voter. If they're not verified, they don't get put on the voter list. They don't receive a ballot. Plain and simple. Once we clean up the voter rolls, then when the ballots return, we require voter ID. I love voter ID, but I'll tell you, I think the more potent part of this initiative is the first part. But I still love voter ID. And so we have to have both. It's not an either or, it's a both and. Would I like to do more? Absolutely. But if we can't do this, then there's no hope ever in getting a fair election in California. And that is why when I have people say, well, Carl, it doesn't do this, it doesn't ban the ballot harvesting, it doesn't ban mail-in ballots, I will say, don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. Let's get this first phase done, and let's make sure we win. I need 1 million signatures. 2 more questions, and then I'll stay for one-on-ones. Yes, ma'am, right over here. We're in Hermosa Beach. You could have waited for a couple weeks.
I'm so new to
Go to the website, voteridevents.org.
That's what I wanted to find out was where my people are in my area.
So what I need you to do is this. She didn't know that there was an event up in Hermosa Beach. Look, I'll go to the opening of an envelope these days if it means that we can get people activated. We're going everywhere. I'm even going to the Bay Area with Tony. I know. When was the last time Republicans went to the Bay Area? They tried telling me to go to downtown San Francisco. I said, all right, that's where I draw the lines. I will go to the gates of hell. I will not go into hell. We won't survive the experience. We'll come out with some disease. But what we are doing is we're going to San Jose. We're going to Fremont. We're going to Walnut Creek, Santa Rosa, Fairfield. We're literally taunting them from the gates of hell. And we're saying, come on out, join us, the water's warm. We are activating every part of this state in the next 21 days of this election. And so I need you to contact all your friends around the state and share the website, voteridinitiative.com. Has all of our events. They can download the petition if they live far away and can't get a petition pack. But all of the information's on that website. Just keep sharing it.
Even
and then
the
of course,
app? Is the app on there too?
There's no app on that. You have to contact our office for the Votive app, and we will be happy to set you up with it. But you can't just go to the website and get the app, but you can get the help desk and contact and get the app. One last question or comment right over here.
Thank you. I love what you guys are doing. And just can you elaborate on the question about getting the Votive app and how we set that up?
How do we get Votive? So if you are interested in getting Votive, once you get your pack, in each pack, there are instruction sheets. And so you take your instruction sheets, and there is no instruction sheet in this packet here because I didn't pull it out. Here it is. On the instruction sheet, you will have the help desk, and for every part of the state, we have hired a campaign manager who is going to be the person of contact for that area. You contact that campaign manager, and they will set you up with a Votive account and a tutorial on how you can activate it. Please don't do it unless you absolutely are confident that you know how to use an app and are willing to do the work. Because what we don't want to do is have a bunch of people on the app and not actually canvassing and talking to voters. So I will stay up here. Okay, one more question? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Stand up.
Thank you. I had a very important question. Sorry, I'm very embarrassed right now.
Don't worry about it. You're amongst friends.
So I'm 17, and this is a very important question for your California voter ID because I've already collected 60 signatures.
Wow. Did one of my staff members get you a shirt? T-shirt?
Yes.
Excellent, because we give T-shirts to the top signature collectors, but we weren't going to start this program until our raffle next month. But I'm glad that they got you a T-shirt.
That's awesome. The thing is that I'm not sure if it's valid because if I'm under 18, if my dad can sign off on it.
So you have to be 18 years or older to collect the signatures. But here's what I promise we will do. If you give us the signatures, we will contact everyone you collected signatures from, and we will make sure we get their signatures from someone who's 18 years or older. But let's give her a round of applause. Thank you everybody for getting involved in politics.
Come on, give us video, Jason.
Choose here and choose absolutely you. Good work. Now, how many signatures did you get, young lady? What's your name?
I got 60. My name is Sophia.
Sophia got 60 signatures. Now, none of you are going to leave tonight without a packet, right? Because Sophia's going to be at the door watching you as you walk out. Here's the thing. We have set out the instruments before you. We have the sheet music. We're keeping you together as the conductors. But it's up to you to grab an instrument, whichever instrument you would like to play, and play as much music as possible, and we will have a crescendo, a symphony of change in this state. But you have to make that happen by activating. Thank you for coming tonight. I will stay for one-on-one. Thank you.